Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So this is the third video in the sort of behind the scenes, what have I got coming up this week video series, and I've really enjoyed creating these videos. It gives me a chance to kind of just talk to you guys and sort of chat a little bit more informal and things that maybe I want to say that I don't want to actually create a video for. I think this is kind of perfect, so I really hope you guys are liking these kind of behind the scene videos. So what have I got coming up this week? So we'll look at the week ahead. So I'm not planning to create a video for this during the week, but I'll still be doing the 2 videos obviously on the weekend, and that's because I've got I think 4 or 5 commissions going on at the moment, and that's a real priority. I need to make sure I get those done and done before the deadline. So I've got a week or 2, but like I said, I've got quite a few juggling at the moment, so that really has to kind of take focus unfortunately this week. I still need to create my destashing video because my Gemini Junior and the portrait is kind of taking up quite valuable space in my room at the moment, and I have got some stamps and die sets as well that I want to sell, so definitely look out for that. I will put a post in the community section when I plan to put that video up, just so you guys can make sure that you're here to watch it in case you do want to have a look at what I am selling. So that is definitely something I need to do over the next couple of weeks. If I can do it this weekend, maybe Saturday's video, I will try to get that done. But yeah, I want to give you guys as much notice as possible, and then just in case, like I said, there is something there that you would like. So yeah, need to get my commissions done this week. Obviously again, our 2 videos as well for the weekends. So looking back, what have I been up to? Done a little bit of organisation. I've rearranged some things. I have bought a couple of items as well, but nothing substantial enough to kind of do like a haul video. With my previous haul video that I showed you last week, there was a couple of items that I actually missed off of that. So I did put some stuff away. It was sort of from a previous order, and of course I forgot all about it. I wrote it down on a post-it note, and it wasn't until I was moving stuff around that I really found it. But all I picked up was some extra colours of the Craft Perfect, the regular coloured cardstock. I've got some yellow, some greens, and like a coral. So what I do is just go on their website. If I spot one of the colours I don't have and it's back in stock, then I will go ahead and buy that. So yeah, just some extra colours you'll probably see get worked into my cards as well. Something else I did buy, I bought just a cheap garland, just a plain garland. It had some lights weaved into it as well, so I'm going to pop that on the wall, and that's going to be for my Christmas decorations that I showed you in the last behind the scenes video that I bought from Matalan for cheap. So I did pick that up. I think it was £6 from Asda it was, so I'm looking forward to getting that up when we put our Christmas decorations up and just being able to make the room a little bit more kind of festive. So over the weekend I have been thinking about a few different things. When I was sort of doing my organisation, I was sort of moving things around. I was talking to my partner, and we was kind of really looking at the design of my craft room, and I've got a lot of dead space. This is kind of what I'm realising now as I'm starting to move things around and really try to settle into my room. I'm finding that maybe it's not the best layout, so I am looking at changing things around. And one of the problems I have is my main desk that I work on and I film my videos on, it is sagging in the middle because it just doesn't quite have enough support, and I think the actual top of it is quite thin. So I'm looking at potentially getting some new worktops and yeah, just changing the layout of the room a little bit, just something that sort of helps me flow a little bit better, put stuff away, where things is. I'm not having to get up and kind of walk all the way around my desk to go to my stamps and my dies and things. So yeah, just look out for that. That's going to be a little bit of a change, I think, or it might end up being quite a drastic change. I'm really not sure at the moment. I did buy a unit from IKEA over the weekend, so I will show you that as well, but that is something that I'm starting to think about, is can I just sort of rearrange my room just a little differently, again just because I've got a lot of dead space where I could really get whereas I really want to get kind of the most out of every inch of my craft room. So yeah, definitely look out for that. Again, that'll probably be more involved in the behind the scenes, and if I end up changing it substantially, I probably will end up doing another proper craft room kind of tour video on it. The other sort of big thing that I have done is, again, I've done a little bit of reorganising and I've made some swatches. So let me go ahead and show you what I've moved and kind of where I've put it, and then I'm keen to show you these swatches that I've made. So here is how I have been storing my alcohol markers. So you can see here just on the side, these are all of my, apart from these end ones, these are all my Craft Perfect papers. So you can see kind of the colour ranges growing. So I have, I don't know why, but I've ended up with 4 different types of alcohol markers. So these are my Spectrum Noir TriBlends. I've been going into the Copic Sketch. These are the Prism Craft markers by Hunky Dory. And these are the old style Nouveau alcohol markers. I don't really use these. I find them really difficult to blend together. So looking at this little unit here, this is from Amazon. I'll try and link it in the description box down below. And before, I really just had all of these colours kind of spread out, and the Copics just took up kind of the top 2 sections. But as I've got more Copics here, I really needed to kind of reorganise it. So I've managed to get all of my TriBlends just into these compartments on the left and the middle, and then it means I can start collecting my Copics a little bit more. The only thing I don't like about this unit is kind of just how slanted back it is. So what I try to do is keep the end that I actually use, so the brush end is what I use more than the sort of chisel end. I try to keep that at the back, so that then the ink is kind of running into this end rather than obviously into the end that I don't really use. So what I'd like to get is something that is just flat, yeah, just so that ink kind of lays straight in the pen. And here, this is just one of those really useful boxes, and it's kind of lucky really because these sort of fit in here perfectly. Again, I don't really use these. I might end up destashing with these as well, but yeah, I want to have something for my Copics, obviously, where they can lay flat more like this. So the main thing I've done up here is taken off my Nouveau drops from this tray here because I just had too many with the new ones that I added. So I've rearranged this Alex straw just a little bit. So the top one is still filled with my Distress Oxide. So I've come to the point now where I have started kind of doubling these up, but I don't think that really bothers me. I'm happy just to keep them in here for the time being. The next one down, this has just got better organisation now. So I always had my Prism inks in here. These are the new storage containers that I showed you in my haul video. So that's now in there and it's super neat. I've got my blending handles and my rollers back there. What I have done is I've added in this tray for my acrylic block. So again, these would end up getting so messy. I've got quite a few different sizes. Some were mine, some came from my nan's craft room. So I've just put them in one of these trays. These are one of those paper boxes that you can get. I just divide it out. So I've got a lid here, and if I just show you under my desk, that's a bottom piece that I use as a splatter box. So these I find really useful and they sit in here lovely. Then our next drawer down, so this had a lot of different stuff in it. It's a little bit of a junk drawer, but now it's just got kind of everything in here. So again, I've taken one of those lids and I've used that for my Nouveau drops in here. So again, these are kind of double stacked at the moment. This is a little bit better with a lid on the side because again, then what's in it is going to lie flat, and it means it's going to have kind of less air when I first go to use it, I'm hoping. It's not really in any sort of order, but I know I can go in here and kind of pick, you know, the colours that I want. Some of this twine, and that was up on my pegboard, but I've taken it off because again I needed the holder that it was on. I put my glimmer mists in here again to keep these on their side, because then you do have that mica powder which will settle, and it's easier to kind of shake it when it's on the side and mix it in than what it is when it's on the bottom. We've got some sequins. I've got my Chloe embellishment blings there, so we've got the pearls and the blings underneath. I've got my Cosmic Shimmer Aurora flakes, which I haven't used yet. I have got my watercolour paints, and then I have some Phil Martin brush markers, so like watercolour brushes. I haven't really used those. It was just part of one of the prizes from the Card Maker of the Year competition. So that's kind of the biggest change. I have then just tried to keep these drawers kind of organised again. So I've got a lid there which has got my vellum scraps, and then I've got a lid there which has got my kind of white 300 GSM scraps in as well. Notebooks and just things like that. This one is still the same, got my tools, We Are Memory Keepers punch board. I've still got the gift bag punch board to do a video on, my spare plates, my trimmer, which I use for scoring. And then this one is just filled with sort of camera stuff and backgrounds and things like that. So I just moved to my normal overhead camera just to show you my swatches. So I am really in love with these. There is something to be said for swatching because I think this is going to make a really, really big difference. So I've now put these up on my pegboard. So I've got kind of one of those long pegs to put these on. And yeah, these are just working fantastically kind of already. So I've just put them on these little clips here. And yeah, one side down, one side up, and they just hang perfectly. So these were some swatches of the Nouveau Shimmer powders. So these I'd done a little while ago. I think I did them actually in a video as well. But I put those up there anyway, just to kind of remind me that I've got them. I haven't really used them in a little while. But these are all new. So you would have seen previously in different videos where I was showing you kind of different products. Maybe it was the alcohol markers, the Nouveau drops and things, that I had come up with a few different swatches. But to be honest, I really wasn't kind of that happy with them. I wasn't really using them, so I thought, you know, if I could redo it in a better way, then I would kind of use them. So the reason that this started, so let me share with you these two first. So this is kind of how it really started. So this took me kind of all day on the weekend, and yeah, but it was definitely time well spent. So what I wanted to find was the Copic sketch, or just the Copic colour chart for me to colour in and sort of see what colours I have. And it's good then just to kind of familiarise myself with the colours, obviously, that I do have and how they kind of blend together. So I printed this out. You can just find these online. But yeah, so I've just started colouring these in, and then what I really wanted to do was have kind of swatches ready to go for the colours that do blend together. So let me first start off with these. So these I found, this is by passionpapercreations.com, so you can find these are all free to download. And so I printed these as sort of A5. They're not all the same size, but it really doesn't bother me that much. But what you've got is just obviously a circle on here, and you've got a line then to put on what colours you have used. So again, you can make these yourself. I just thought it was easier just to find something. So what I've done is created one of these for each of the colour families that I have alcohol, the Copic sketch markers for. So at the top here I've put Copic sketch red violet RV. So this is the red violet family, and I just put Copic sketch just in case I decided to do these with a different brand. But so in this particular family I have 4 alcohol markers. So I've got 10, 11, 13 and 14. So I've done the 4 blends there. I've done 10, 11 and 13, and then 11, 13 and 14. So I can reference back to this if there's a particular colour that I want. Maybe I've got a colour palette that I'm following, then I can come into these and sort of find the exact blend, rather than every time having to kind of sit down and work out what colours it is that I want to use, and the pens then that I need to create that blend. And the more pens that I get, I can just do the different blends on here. I could end up with a few of these. It really doesn't matter, but I can just go through it and really just have a look at the colours that I want to pick. So I've got one set for the yellow green, so I got 6, 7 and 9 there. So I've done that blend. I can see exactly what that's going to look like. I really love this system. I'm really happy with this, and like I said, when I add new Copic sketch markers to my collection, I can just swatch them out on here, and then I can make a note of the colours I've got on there. So if we carry on with the alcohol blends, so this one I've literally just swatched the colours. So this is my craft markers. So this was my original swatch. So absolutely nothing wrong with this. I did this in number order, but you can see sort of the difference. This is done by kind of shades, not done by numbers. This is going to be a lot easier to work with in terms of what colours I want to put together than what this is, because I can look at this and go, well, you know, maybe I want to put those 3 together, but actually those might not appear together on here. So I think this is going to be more useful than this, and it just looks a lot nicer. So this again can be downloaded from the website if you have these alcohol markers. This is just going to be a real game changer for me using these markers. Again, that's all on its own. So if I'm using these, I can just pull this down and pick out the colours that I want to use. So I did one as well for my TriBlend markers, just because I thought, you know, I do still have some ink left in my TriBlends, and yeah, I wanted to kind of do it and just sort of use my alcohol markers a lot more. So again, I did have a previous version of this. I think I've just completely ripped it up and put it in the bin now, but so before I literally just had it scribbling down so you could see the blends, but this is how the actual blends look together. So I downloaded this. This is a Cathy Zielski template. If you go on her YouTube channel, there is a video of her using the TriBlend markers, and so she's got this one which has the heading at the top. She then does have a blank one as well that you can just use for any of your markers, but I really love this one. And again, it's nice to kind of see what the colours look like when they do blend together. I do really think that swatching, unless you're 100% confident with what you've got, what you're using, I think swatching is a really fantastic thing. The other thing I would mention is I've printed all of these onto the Nina cardstock, and so I've done that because I want to see what it looks like on the paper that I use with my alcohol markers. There's no point in picking a different kind of paper that you're not going to use, because your colours could look completely different. So that's the alcohol markers. So I've got those 3 swatches there, and so I decided to take it a step further. So I'm going to show you, these are the Nouveau drop swatches. So again, I had made my own swatch sheet, never ever used it, it was left in a drawer, but thinking now, obviously now I've got more, and from a couple of their different ranges as well, yeah, I wanted to do something a little better, so I just had a look to see if they had a swatch sheet, and I absolutely love how these have come out. I think they look really, really beautiful. Again, these can be downloaded, any of the Nouveau products, I'm pretty sure they all have a swatch sheet that you can download from the Tonic Studios website. So if you've got this, you want to have a go at it, head over to Tonic Studios. It's got a little key in here, so you've got certain ones have a clear effect, some have a metallic effect, some have gloss. This one here is the crystal drop, so there's 2 pages to these, so hopefully the lighting is going to be okay. Obviously with all this white, it might end up being a little bit dark, but so you can see the colours that I have got. I have tried to swatch these 3 times. I've done a small, a medium and quite a large, so I can really see the difference depending on how I'm gonna use the drops on my product, on my project. So I've done those. Then I've got a sheet for the vintage drops. So I've only got 3 of these. I've got the Saddlebag, Pumice Stone and Chalk White. So again, these are all matte, completely matte, no shine, really, really beautiful. I don't use them a lot on my products. I really should. I think I'm going to start using this white one, probably more so than the other 2, just because it's a little bit more generic. Then the jewel drops. So I've only got 1 of these. I've got the Lavender Dream. So you might be thinking, why have I bothered printed these off, you know, if I've only got 1? But you never know, I might end up getting a couple different ones. I quite like the Nouveau drops. I do use them on a lot of my projects rather than sequins and things. That's just not something that I've kind of bought up until now, but I think, you know, if I'm swatching, I'm going to take the time to kind of, you know, swatch everything. Then the last one I've got is these glitter drops. So I've got 3 here, Emerald City, Pink Champagne and Aquatic Mist. So again, and I've done the 3 dots. I think, again, I think it looks nice, which is kind of silly to just do it for that, but I think it looks nice, and it sort of reminds me that I can do different sizes. I end up just kind of having the same sort of sizes on my projects, but yeah, this means that I can actually, you know, to remind myself I can do different sizes with these. And then I went on to swatch my ink pads. So again, I had swatches for my inks. These are my Prism dye inks by Hunky Dory. These, again, so you can download these from the Hunky Dory website. Again, nothing wrong with these. This sheet wasn't right. It was either a duplicate of this, or this was supposed to be for the new colours, but it was kind of messed up. So, but again, I mean, I just kind of swiped my ink pads on this, but I wondered really how accurate that was. I mean, I don't swipe my ink pads on my cardstock now for my project, so you know, I kind of thought, well, it just doesn't really make sense as something useful. So with this set here, so this is created by, I think it's Misty Sparkle Wings, I think it is. Again, if I can find it, I will. These are, again, free to download. So I just had a look through my stash. I had a look to see if I had any solid images. And from one of the Altenew, it's one of their presents sets, they had different squares in there, different solid squares, and they fit absolutely perfect into this template here. So I've literally just gone through, so we've got kind of a whole page and a line there. Obviously I have labeled them as well so I can really see the colors. And I mean, I use these, I don't use them overly often, to be honest, but again, maybe now I can really see the colors. I can see how they stamp. Some of them stamp a little better than others. Some of the, you know, these, the color application was really good. Some of them are just a little bit kind of blotchy and things, but I can really kind of see these colours. So the last thing I decided to swatch, obviously I was having a bit of a swatch day, is my Distress ink. So I've done two here. I've got one for my Distress Oxides and one for my Distress ink. So I don't have tons of the Distress inks. I've got a couple of packs of the mini cubes in the 4s, but then something that I kind of forget quite often is from my nan's craft room, she had a bunch of the big Distress ink cubes. I just took a same stamp from that same Altenew stamp set. I had a smaller one, so I just inked those up, did the exact same thing, just on an acrylic block. And yeah, it really, this, I'm probably going to come to this before I go in to my actual drawers to find it. I think this is just a much better system, especially when you have quite a few. Maybe they're not in kind of the fancy organizational things that you can find. You know, mine are just now in a pot, so this is probably what I'm going to come to first to kind of find my colors. For my Distress Oxides, I didn't want to stamp them. I don't really stamp with my Distress Oxides. I wanted to have a blend on here so I could see what it looked like for my blend in. So all I did was I took this little dauber blender. So this originally I used for my inks. This is now, I might get another one because this is now going to be used for oxides, and I'll get another one then just for my inks so I don't contaminate them. But so all I did literally was just took one of these and I simply just did, you know, a small little blend there as well. These again you can find from the Ranger Ink website. They do loads of different templates and things again for all of their products, and this has been updated. So this has got Villainous Potion, which was their newest one. So it could be if they had some new colours came out that I did get. You do have 3 blank ones down here, but if they updated it, maybe I would look at redoing this. I'm not really sure. I'm not too worried about that for the moment, because like I said, there are just a couple of other ones that I would like to get before kind of just buying the newest colours out there. So again, just to show you, this is where I've now got them. So you can see I've got one of these long pegs. So I've got 8 of these hanging on here. This is kind of pretty much full up. I probably could squish some more on if I needed to, but they are sort of really nicely spaced on there. But again, that's just on my pegboard, just for real, you know, easy picking them up, having a look, what is it that I want to use. So I hope you found that interesting, just looking at my swatches. I'm really happy with how they have turned out, and I think it's going to make a really big difference when I come to put colour combinations together and really kind of seeing the products that I've already got, if I've got any gaps, maybe where I want to buy any extra colours and things like that. So I think that is really going to help. So that kind of turned into quite a big project. Like I said, that did take me the majority of the day because I did have quite a lot of stuff that I ended up wanting to swatch out. So, but again, I do think it was really worthwhile doing. If it's something you haven't done, I'll try to find links to the templates that I've used in the description box down below if you want to have a go at doing that. But the most important thing is make sure that you print these on paper where you're going to be using that medium. If it's your ink blending, print it onto the cardstock that you do your ink blending on, so you can see exactly how that's going to look in for your projects. The same with your alcohol markers. If you've got a specific paper that you use there, print it onto that so you can really see what that looks like. So obviously that swatching kind of took up quite a bit of time, so this video is probably going to be a little bit longer than what my other ones have been. Like I said at the beginning, the last thing that I was going to kind of talk about was my craft room and a little bit of kind of redesign there. So what I have purchased is a 2x2 calyx unit, so it's the 2x2 cubed unit. And I am going to be kind of integrating that into a little bit into my desks for storage, but also for that support to keep it nice and supported. So this wasn't something that I was planning to kind of do. This was, you know, maybe in my next craft room when it's, you know, big and amazing and things like that. But kind of like I said before, I've got a lot of dead space at the moment. I'm looking at how I can utilize my space a little bit better. Now I've gotten in here, now I've settled and things, I don't want to kind of bump the price up of what I actually spend to get this room where I want it to be. So I might talk about that maybe in my next video when I have kind of decided a little bit more about what I want to do, and yeah, kind of bring you along in with my thought process and things like that about what it is that I want to do. So that is pretty much it for this video. I think that's everything that I really wanted to share with you. What I am going to do is just give you a really quick sneak peek of my stamp sets that I've been working on. I've sent them back to the manufacturers just to have a look at spacing and things. Do I need to take some stamps off? Do I need to make them smaller, bigger, things like that? So I've got a little bit more work to do on that, and definitely on the sentiments. So as I said before, I've got 2 sets that I'm working on. They're going to be A5 in size, both sentiment packs. So if I just give you a little sneak peek, this is one of them. This is going to be a big words. And what I want to do, hopefully if this set goes well, is I want to create a die set, a coordinating die set to go with this. It's going to have a die to cut out the word and then the shadow die as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we've got another A5 stamp set. This has got tons and tons. So I've actually added, I think in the last video when I talked about this, I said something you could make like 72 sentiments or something. I've added probably double the amount of sentiments on here now, so you could probably make double the amount of sentiments on your cards for these. So it is going to be one of those kind of build-in sentiment packs. I've tried to cover all occasions. I've tried to cover different holidays and things like that as much as possible. I've tried to add in kind of relatives and things so you can be a bit more specific and customize your cards. And I've tried to add kind of join-in words as well. Again, what I'd like with this is maybe to have a coordinating set. Maybe it wouldn't be a exact set for like cutting out each individual phrase or things like that, but maybe like a different kind of banner set so you can create you know, just smaller banners. But yeah, this hopefully is going to work really perfectly with our big sort of script words. So that's a little sneak peek. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, I've got a little bit of work to do on this still, but yeah, let me know what you think. Are you excited? Is this something that you're interested in? I would absolutely love to know. That's going to be it for this video. So thanks very much for watching, and happy crafting.